I'm just sitting here with my son at the window. Cat Scratch, he's got that blonde flippy hair that the 1977 year version of Star Wars put out.
Are you recording me?
No.
That's false advertising.
So I'm looking for answers, and on comes Animal Kingdom in June, June, for Janvier and Juvier. It's savoir. I'm noticing that the word saber and Vader is used, which the B and the D are like a merry melody opposite. They use the word Clone Wars. Now by clone, I don't know if they mean one. And I was looking for a definition on this force that they put out in 1977, since I'm in century 20, year 22. They use the words energy field created by all living things, surrounds us, binds us, penetrates us, holds the galaxy together. The numbers that they use on the metrics that I have today, because I turned the movie on mid-course, is 2 for aerospace design is 2.43.40. The end of the conversation is 2.46.77. They use the word Jedi Knight, and as I look at it, I'm like, je suis, meaning I am, in an SUIS kind of a way, for JEDI. So that's an IDI. And then I saw earlier they have, at some level of education I could never get to, there's something called a Fordham. I saw it on the AIDS walk earlier. They refer to it as je suis, or Jesuit is what they call it. J-E, je, and then suit, S-U-I-T. But that was at a higher level of learning than I ever got to. And then he speaks of the peace and the justice. But again, that goes back to piecemeal and whatever. The word justice becomes Jew, and then it looks like street ice before dark times. And again, he hands him the lightsaber, but it looks, when he turns it on, it looks like a photon, like, light thing. But I mean, again, is that towards the television that now I have to look to for answers, since this whatever didn't work out. I saw also, before, there were 2 movies that somebody made, one in 2016. One was called Black Book, and the other was called then there was one called Mr. and Mrs. Smith. Oh, and then there was The Exception that was hailed or let out in 2016. Again, I don't know which one. I mean, they have increased the whatever by letting these things out. In this clone, it's 1. And it's lone. L-O-N-E, as in like lone survivor type of a thing. foresee. So this is what it looks like in privatized conversation with some kind of animal kingdom. And this June, I am in the Northeast.
No, my father didn't fight in the wars. He was a navigator on a spice freighter.
That's what your uncle told you. He didn't hold your father's ideals, thought he should have stayed here and not gotten involved.
This is almost the relationship my father tries to have with my son. I say nothing.
You fought in the Clone Wars?
Yes. I was once a Jedi Knight, the same as your father.
I wish I'd known him.
Because in this household, there is no Jesuit. There is no somebody guiding or looking up to that I'm aware of. I have no facial recon of any such a person. Not in my life frame.
The best star pilot in the galaxy. And a cunning warrior. I understand you've become quite a good pilot yourself. And he was a good friend. Which reminds me, I have something here for you.
The problem with stowaways and men that move themselves into your daughter's home and life and won't leave during this Clone War with some overlord of darkness that clings on like a Klingon in Star Trek to the father figure, the only one that the child has ever known. In actuality, these are real facts. These aren't, I mean, they're scripted by universe somewhere, but they are real facts. There's a man by the name of Lord. He's the Dark Lord. He clung on to my father, I don't know when or for what reason. And I'm having trouble. Then I have the first one, the second one show up. First one I detach from completely after he tries to crush my hyoid bone in my sleep. And then the second one takes me into bad situations, not always, but sometimes bad situations that are also on record. I have some kind of running tab with some guy who was there for one of the nights that I got stung by a whatever that I couldn't put my finger on. I mean, it only made sense it would be a needle, but I didn't know who had done it. In the useless group that I was there with, or I arrived with, let's say, because there were others that were there, apparently, on a different whatever.
Your father wanted you to have this when you were old enough, but your uncle wouldn't allow it. He feared you might follow old Obi-Wan on some damn fool idealistic crusade like your father did.
Sir, if you'll not be needing me, I'll...
So, without the weapons and bullets, but if bullets and weapons were words, the whole Mr. and Mrs. Smith with Angelina Jolie and Brad Pitt, if the weapons were words and nothing more, that's how sharp-tongued Tifru and I were. I mean, like, there's no love lost. There should have never been a time period where we were together. End of story. And today is May 15th, 2022. The ceremony was May 15th. I don't know how many years it is. We haven't even celebrated a single whatever humans do.
Yeah, I'll close down for a while. Sure, go ahead.
What is it? Your father's lightsaber. This is the weapon of a Jedi Knight. Not as clumsy or random as a blaster. An elegant weapon, but a more civilized age. For over 1,000 generations, the Jedi Knights were the guardians of peace and justice in the Old Republic. Before the Dark Times. Before the Empire.
How did my father die?
A young Jedi named Darth Vader, who was a pupil of mine until he turned to evil, helped the Empire hunt down and destroy the Jedi Knights. He betrayed and murdered your father. Now the Jedi are all but extinct. Vader was seduced by the dark side of the Force.
The Force?
And the Force is what gives the Jedi his power. It's an energy field created by all living things. It surrounds us, it penetrates us, it binds the galaxy together.
Is that the part of the us that still survived? Just curious. Since I don't have my physical over 6 foot form of us that survived.
Now let's see if we can't figure out what you are, my little friend. And where you come from.
I saw part of the message.
I seem to have found it.
General Kenobi, years ago you served my father in the Clone Wars. Now he begs you to help him in his struggle against the Empire. I regret that I am unable to present my father's request to you in person, but my ship has fallen under attack, and I'm afraid my mission to bring you to Alderaan has failed. I have placed information...
Alderaan, and Obi-Wan. And then Ken Obi.
Information vital to the survival of the rebellion into the memory systems of this R2 unit. My father will know how to retrieve it. You must see this droid safely delivered to him on Alderaan. This is our most desperate hour. Help me, Obi-Wan Kenobi. You're my only hope.
If someone could design the way they like someone who's been betrayed, harmed, but yet still needed in the field, they could design their own message of how they'd like to hear, right? Yeah, that would be the way I would probably executive direct it myself, except it's not how it always comes out in the side of, like, do you have any idea what they've done?
You must learn the ways of the Force if you're to come with me to Alderaan.
Alderaan? I'm not going to Alderaan. I'm going to get home. It's late. I'm in port as it is.
I need...
Now, the Force being, remember, here's the layer. It's je dis, as in dit-on, the je suis, and the Jesuit. That's where Fordham Law is. We haven't gotten there. My father never got there. My grandfather never got there in this Clone War. And now my sons, because I never got there for other reasons, now are wounded in the field as far as opportunity. So at what point does je dis, in dit-on, help my children, since they are Rh negative? For the most part, I was Rh negative. There was no reason why I should have been kept in a Rh positive, whatever this is.
Help me play?
Your help, Luke. She needs your help. I'm getting too old for this sort of thing.
I can't get involved. I've got work to do. It's not that I like the Empire. I hate it, but there's nothing I can do about it right now. It's such a long way from here.
That's your uncle talking.
My uncle. How am I ever going to explain it?
Learn about...
It's like Uncle Sam, between Sam and Ralph. Clocking in, clocking out, that kind of thing. And Inner Space, Outer Space. That was a movie, Inner Space, also.
About the Force, Luke.
can take you as far as Anchorhead. You can get a transport there to Mos Eisley or wherever you're going.
You must do what you feel is right, of course.
This is where the metric started.
Obi-Wan. Now that's a name I've not heard in a long time. A long time.
I think my uncle knows him. He said he was dead.
Oh, he's not dead. Not yet.
But you know him.
Well, of course I know him. He's me.
My children, here's the thing about this conversation. The younger generation are born with no answers. So to expect the younger generation to know what to ask at all times or any time inside this containment unit in this fallout shelter, there's no hearth in this home, just so we're clear. There's no chimney, there's no hearth in this fallout shelter. That's a big key up.
I haven't gone by the name of Obi-Wan since before you were born.
Janvier.
Well, then the droid does belong to you.
Don't seem to remember ever owning a droid. Very interesting. I think we better get indoors.
Droid, no. Is that in the oi oi oi? Because I don't know. It seems backwards from the io mi io. Je ne sais pas non, so I don't know if we have a melodic Vader situation problem. And then there's an uppercase gamma. And then it's an oi. It's an ID of sorts.
The Sand people are easily startled, but they'll soon be back.
The Sand people are easily startled.
Soon be back, and in greater numbers.
3PO.
That was a 1977 movie mention. It is now 2022. Plenty of time to thwart evil.
Where am I? I must have taken a bad step.
Can you stand? We've got to get out of here before the Sand people return.
I don't think I can make it. You go on, Master Luke. There's no sense in you risking yourself on my account. I'm done for.
No, you're not. What kind of talk is that?
Now on the move.
So now if the only way to explain the difference in whatever, this could be someone that's not to be announced. I mean, I saw on whether the Black Book or the other one, you're not supposed to address the Kaiser directly. Just saying, unless it's to report one of the pharmaceutical children pronouncing that they work for this Kaiser when there's no, they don't look like a Kaiser child. How could they be working for the Kaiser? Does anybody have how do you verify that?
There's no sense in you risking yourself.
That's one thing that's unexplainable in a kind of sort of but not really way between the generation of 1940 whatever. And then it is a really clever way to also explain the record that's made.
Where am I? I must have taken a bad step.
In this. Whatever's contained in there. Whatever's contained in there is contained in there for the officer that one was built for. Not that one should be trapped away from. It's star 1978, star 8378, Nicole, Cattaruzza. It's Earth, Solar System, Milky Way, Universe, Galaxy is broken. It's Bayside Station, Bayside, New York, 11361.